Hello, guys. Welcome to another episode of the Commerce Lab by Ecomcy, the place of everything related to Amazon FBA, private label, and e-commerce. My name is Vincenzo Toscano, founder and CEO of Ecomcy. And today we bring in our special guest. His name is Vince Montero, and he's one of the masterminds behind one of these amazing tools we all have heard about, which is Atomic from Helium 10. He pretty much had an amazing show. I remember Tuesday tacos, I think, right?
Tacos Tuesday, yeah,
Tacos Tuesday. That's right.
or
I
Takeout
remember.
Tuesday, ACOS,
Yeah,
ACOS, ACOS Tuesday, depending on how you say it. Yeah,
exactly. So I remember it was very famous. Super engaging, and you
yeah.
had such an amazing reputation when it comes to PPC,
Thank
and
you.
that's why I wanted to bring you on board, bro. Because I know last time I had you on the show, we talk about all the amazing things you are doing with Atomic,
Yeah,
and some of the amazing features. And now, of course, on today's episode, I want to do a little bit of emphasis about all the things that are been happening in terms of trends for PPC. A
yeah,
lot has changed since the last time we did an episode, so I'm
a
very
lot.
intrigued to hear what are some of the things you're implementing yourself. So yes, it's gonna be a super engaging conversation, Vince. So pleasure
Yeah,
to have you on the show. How you
thank
doing,
you
bro?
so much. Thank you so much. Yeah, just to clarify, yeah, I do not work with for Helium 10 anymore.
Exactly.
I get
Exactly.
those questions a lot, but I still, like you said, I was an integral part of creating their PPC software.
Hmm.
We iterated on it and became Atomic, and I'm still using it. So, last time I was with you, I pretty much did a deep dive on what it was. Yeah, and today I thought it'd be interesting for people that do follow, my content, particularly, to see what I'm doing with the latest updates that they've done with their bidding algorithm. So I've
Hmm.
been playing around with a few different algorithms, and I like the flexibility for an advanced user. And so this is kind of what I'm going to talk about and share. It's kind of
Sure.
more advanced. We built Atomic at Helium 10 with some standard bid algorithms in there for people that are just kind of getting into PPC, so that you could target your goals on PPC by ACOS, or
Yeah.
maybe by impressions if you wanted to just get reach, or maybe you just wanted to focus on sales and that's the only figure. Like, there are really good bid algorithms already in there, and of course I'm saying that because I was there and helped build them. But the ability to now get in there and actually make your own custom rules, which launched I think at the beginning of the year, just before, has been really kind of making me look at how I um it's tailoring my current experience with each client. Every client's different. I still
Yeah.
have clients. I've always had clients, even when
Yeah.
luckily, even when I was at Helium 10. So I still have those clients. I've picked up a few more. But having this more open landscape, or canvas to create bid roles, has really kind of opened my mind up to actually doing a little bit more individualized things. So I'm
Hmm.
I'm going to stop talking and actually just share my screen,
Yeah, of course.
so that you guys
Yeah.
can see what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
Let's
actually,
see.
I wanna while you do that, I
Yeah,
definitely wanna say that even at the Ecomcy we use at Atomic, it's been 100% a game changer. We've been able to have so much flexibility, as you say, in terms of
hmm,
how we tailor the strategies for our clients. Because I agree, I think one of the things I have found with our software tools is that sometimes it's like a black box. You can't
yeah,
really edit their systems. It's a cookie cutter approach.
yes.
We know on Amazon, especially in 2024, how competitive it's getting. You're gonna use the same strategy for every single pro. So
Yeah, there's no one size fits all anymore.
yeah,
Back in the beginning of PPC, yes,
it
kind of,
used to.
but with the
Yeah, yeah,
influx
yeah.
of competition, the influx of all the different campaign types
Hmm.
alone, yes, I'm not going to badmouth any other software, because there
Hmm.
are some solutions where you
Definitely.
really can't do anything. And for
Hmm.
some people, that's good. They want completely hands off. But for
Yeah,
those of us, agency owners like you and me, that actually do
want to
understand at a deeper
maximize everything.
level, yeah,
Exactly.
we know how to maximize this. So this will be good for people, just who maybe are using Atomic, or even if you're using another solution, maybe start thinking about um, how you can integrate or ingrain some of the things I'm going to share. So I'm just going to pop open this. It's in the rules and automation section, which is a newer area of Atomic. I only have, currently one rule in here for this one account.
Hmm.
So I'm not going to explain every single level, but I kind of wanted to just to share some of the things that I liked that I built into this. Now, obviously, the first thing I'll say is there's lots of different criteria that I'm going to go through. This
Mhm.
is not this is not a flow, right? So it doesn't
Mhm.
really matter the order that these are in. You just want to make sure you target things like ACOS. Obviously,
Mhm.
ACOS is a consideration. It is one factor when it comes to looking at your optimizations. So I just happened to start with ACOS, right? There's
Yeah.
lots of different criteria you could look at. You can make rules by ROAS, by clicks, by impressions. There's lots of different options for you. But one of the things that you're going to want to do most likely is by ACOS. Now, what I did was kind of do a sliding scale. And I
Mhm.
kind of do this in tandem with Travis Mersola, who's still there at Helium 10. And him and
Yeah.
I bounce back and forth on Slack on different
Yeah.
ideas.
It's cool.
And one thing that we did notice with some of the ACOS goals within any kind of bidding algorithm is there's really big swings that happen. Like, let's say you launch a new keyword and you want to be aggressive with that,
Mhm.
but your bid algorithm has like a 20% ACOS, right? So the new keyword will come out, the data will get collected, and then you'll see a dramatic drop in the
Mhm.
bidding suggestion because you had that ACOS target. So what's been working better, if you're focused solely on ACOS, is actually doing like a scale of
Mhm.
dropping things down. So I've set this up for ranges. So ACOS ranges between 45 to 55. And this is me. You guys can put any kind of
Mhm.
ACOS percentages you want in there. But I'm being aggressive starting from 15% up to 55%. So if it's between 45 to 55, I'm saying target 35% ACOS. If it's 35 to 45% ACOS, I'm saying, hey, target
Mhm.
25. So we're more gradually lowering this down because at the end of the day, an ACOS means there was a sale, right? So you do want to try to see if you can save that keyword um, without cutting it off too quickly and then not getting any sales from it. So this is more of a gradual way of keeping that keyword that obviously created some sales and lowering it down in phases or in stages to try to get to your actual ACOS goal. Now
Yeah.
you can see my actual ACOS goal is actually between 15 and 20%, right? Which is most
Mhm.
people's. Um,
Yeah.
you can put 10% if you want. I think that's too aggressive. You're gonna you're
Yeah.
gonna
Yeah.
you're gonna cut yourself in the foot. You
Yeah.
might be a little bit more aggressive and say, hey, no, my target goal is actually 30%. So then you
Yeah.
just stack these ranges differently,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Question?
And yeah, actually, something I wanted to add, I like this approach because something I see a lot when doing audits on accounts as well is that when they only use an ACOS, let's say, okay, everything over 50, lower bids by 25%, and that's it, and they don't have the staircase approach.
Mhm.
As you briefly mentioned there are keywords that only gonna perform a certain ranges of ACOS because the CPC that's driven behind that keyword, right? So if you
Right.
then become super aggressive, you're not gonna perform. And I think something you know this very well within the PPC world. Sometimes you want to strategically have an ACOS on a keyword because it drives sales, which then improves organic ranking. Therefore, you
Right.
have a tag. So again, it's cool to see that you're actually doing that as well because I feel most people don't. And now that
Yeah.
they have it on a graphical way, it's easy
Yeah.
to grasp.
Yeah. And you have to build this though. Like you have to
Hmm.
be thinking
Of
about
course.
all of this. Like there's no there's no templates in
Hmm.
Atomic that actually says to do this. This is just something that I decided that I wanted to test,
Yeah.
and it's working really well. For the clients that I have, I've noticed it's only been a few months, but I have noticed a pretty drastic difference between the total cost before this
Mm-hmm.
algorithm, which I'll continue to show you the rest, and then after. So it is working, or else I wouldn't be sharing it. One
Hmm.
thing that I do want to note is that you can change these are scaling down, but the target can be lots of different things. Like you can increase the bid, decrease the bid, like you were saying, right? You can
Hmm.
set it to the CPC. You can set it to CPC. This algorithm target ACOS divided by ACOS. I like the revenue per click. It's kind of a different way of looking at it. It's basically saying, what do you need to spend in order to get a certain amount of clicks? And you should know basically what that's going to mean or take to get you that certain ACOS. That's what this is. There's a lot involved with it, but I want to highlight this revenue per click because it's what I've been using for this. And this
Interesting.
is, I think, pretty unique to Atomic. So it's definitely something I think people should be aware of and test it out. Um, then, so again, I kind of bounced all over the place a little bit, but if, I started at 55 and now I'm going to 0 to 15. So I'm going at the very bottom. So what I kind of said, originally I had this to also like a set by CPC, but I was like, no, actually, if the ACOS is 0 to 15% and 15% is like my ultimate goal, I don't care about anything. I'm just going to increase that bid. Yeah. So it looks like I accidentally deleted that by 5%, right? So and you can change this up or down, what have you. So really at the end of the day, no matter what's going on, I want it to increase. Yeah. Doesn't matter. Now you do want to set some parameters. So I do have a set max bid. You don't have to do that. You could just keep going as high as you want. As long as it's doing 0 to 15, it's going to increase it. But I like to have some maximums only when it comes to bidding. But even then, I kind of said, okay, well, let's say it's already at $5, right? But it's still 0 to 15. Okay. Well, I still want to increase it, but I'm going to only increase 2.5%, right? So you can make these gradual adjustments like this in looking at it this way. And I said, hey, set the max bid to 10. If it's $10, but it has 5 to 15% ACOS, I'm still okay looking at this and increasing it by 2.5%. Again, it's everyone's different comfort, and it's also, I should say it's also your margins, right? This product that I'm looking at happens to be like $140, $150 product. So I can afford to be a little bit more aggressive, as you'll see in some of these spends. So the spends, so we've already gone over ACOS. So what do we do with if the ACOS of this? Now we're kind of into the spend section. And typically that's spend with no sales, which you can see, which it's just here. So I'm looking at different ranges of spend now. And again, these are flipped because I did them backwards. So I have the 0 to 15 here, and then I have the 15 to 25 here. Again, it doesn't matter. It's not a flow. It's just this. It's going to look at the whole thing, right? So, basically we're saying if it's 0 to 25, I want to do two different things. If it is in this 0 to 15 range, I want to increase it, right? Because I'm saying, hey, I can spend $15 on this particular product again because it's a $150 product to still test it, right?
Yeah, they don't have enough exposure. You want to give them more chance, essentially.
Correct. And for me, $15 because this could be a $4 click, so $15 could just be a few clicks. So I'm going to increase that no matter what it is. If it's less than 15, I know I'm going to increase it 2.5% with a max of 5. Now, if it gets into 15 and 25 range, and again, I can afford to go higher because this is a $150 product, then I set it to CPC instead because I'm assuming I'm going to have more information here at 15 to 25 spend.
Exactly.
So now I can go, okay, well, whatever the CPC is, this might increase it. It's most likely going to increase it, basically.
Yeah, because if the market is being very aggressive and CPC is high, of course.
Exactly. So now we get on to the other ranges. So in this one, I'm going all the way up to 45. So basically I'm saying I can afford to spend $45 on the keyword to test it. You don't have to do that, right? This is a $150 product.
It depends on your economics, of course.
Yeah. So you might only have 2 of these, right? If your product is $20, you're going to only have maybe 2 of these ranges. I have more flexibility. I have more margins. So I'm just saying, think about that when you build these out. So I can afford to say, okay, well, if it's over 25, which was the top one here, and between 35, I'm going to start decreasing it though, right? I'm not gonna go crazy with that, but I still know I have some margin. I'm going to decrease a little bit because it's still going to spend, but I don't have to increase it in order for it to spend, right? So I'm saying, hey, let's try to slow this down. If it gets to 35 to 45, remember 45 is my upper limit. Like that is my actual cap, which you'll see here is 45. So between 35 and 45, I'm like, okay, let's decrease it 5%, right? This was 2.5%. This was 5%. So this is an even deeper cut. I didn't pause it yet. And you, unfortunately, you can't really pause in these rules, but you're just playing with the bids. But I'm going to do a deeper. It's still going to spend, and then we'll see what happens. If it does, when it gets up to 45 and still there's no sales, then I'm like, okay, effectively we're pausing it because I'm setting the bid to 20 cents.
Yeah. I mean, if you get a click at 20 cents, why not? But effectively,
Right. But again, since you can't pause keywords in this, effectively what I do either once a week or once a month is I have my VA and go, hey, go look at all the keywords that are 20 cents or 25 cents if it's
and pause them.
and pause them, right? So
Yeah.
it's a clear delineation for him to,
Yeah.
to say, oh,
Yeah,
well,
which you can do it in the PPC dashboard. You go to the targeting tab,
yep,
put a filter by bit, and yeah,
yeah.
cool, cool.
And you can easily see all the keywords that are at that range. And if the rule put them down there, it's for a
Yeah,
reason. They didn't work, right?
yeah, yeah.
So that's kind of the flow for that. Um,
So when it comes to this, because I get this question all the time, because sometimes keywords might not work at certain stages of your PPC,
Mhm.
because it could be that you didn't have enough reviews back then, your pricing wasn't competitive enough. You have the old images, now you have the new images, the new copy. So how you make a system where sometimes the keywords that you negated, you give them a second chance? You see what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, seasonality of keywords, I see this a lot. Like,
Yeah,
obviously,
yeah.
if you're selling swim trunks
Mm-hmm.
probably is not going to convert for you in the winter as the same time as the
Yeah,
summer. Unfortunately, that's not in this tool yet.
yeah, yeah,
That
yeah,
is manual. Like, that is something that
yeah.
you have to have a human mind, which is why I always say this. Like, I will never fully automate things. You always
Which
have
is
to have that.
important to
Yeah.
emphasize. Yeah.
So once
Mm-hmm.
a month, we look at the negative keywords that have actually been, or paused keywords that have been
Cool.
applied.
Mm-hmm.
And I shouldn't say every month. I'd say maybe every couple of months, like
Yeah, of
every
course.
once a quarter. It's a good
Mm-hmm.
practice to look at your paused
Go
keywords
back.
or your
Yeah.
negated keywords and say, hey, is any of this due to seasonality, or is any of this
Mm-hmm.
due because I was out of stock
Mm-hmm.
during the
Exactly.
time frame, right? And one cool thing is in Atomic, you can see all your negatives. So that is something that you can see really easy. And you can also see how you're paused too. You can easily
Yeah.
just set a date range, say, show me paused keywords. So you can look at that kind of stuff pretty easily, but it still takes the
Yeah.
human mind to decipher, okay, which ones maybe should we try again?
Yeah.
They haven't built that kind of logic yet into
Yeah. Yeah.
software.
Yeah. I think a
um,
metric actually is super interesting. Just to do a quick emphasis on that one is the one where you were talking about how you look at the revenue generated per click at the beginning. You remember
right.
you had
Yeah.
that metric. I think that's super important because sometimes people don't do this calculation that there are certain keywords that even if you have perfect conversion like 25%,
Mhm.
even the CPC is never going to allow you to be profitable. You see what
Right.
I mean?
Hmm.
Like, and that's an exercise I see people don't take into consideration. They think that
Yeah.
a keyword that is always being profitable somehow is going to be profitable on the line, but sometimes even perfect conversion is never going to get you there. And sometimes that's a product issue in the first place. Yeah.
Exactly. And yeah,
Yeah.
so and for those of you who wanted to look at that again, this is the calculation. I'm highlighting it. Total revenue divided by total clicks, right? So
Mm-hmm.
this is something that you should know
Mm-hmm.
about your product and how it's doing
Yeah.
in PPC, because it is higher value signal, greater efficiency and profitability. And
Yeah. Yeah.
that is what I'm seeing with
Yeah.
that being the key
Interesting.
target that I'm
Mm-hmm.
trying to meet versus trying to hit a certain ACOS. Or now
Exactly.
it does take ACOS into consideration, like I was
Of
saying,
course. Yeah.
but
Yeah.
it's doing it differently than most algorithms would be doing that.
Yeah.
Last but not least, we've talked about ACOS, we've talked about spend and no
Mm-hmm.
sales. Now we're talking about low impression or impressions in
Mm-hmm.
general. So obviously, if you've done a lot of keyword research and you're
Mm-hmm.
adding different keywords into your campaigns, you want to make sure they are actually getting impressions. So you
Yeah.
need a solution to actually help you with that monitoring. So 1,000 impressions is kind of like a standard. You can put whatever you want here, right? But I'm just saying, hey, if a certain
Mm-hmm.
keyword has less than 1,000 impressions, and again, no clicks and no sales, you can
Activity.
differentiate that if you want as well. I'm going to increase it, right? 5% set to max
Mm-hmm.
bid. So I'm just trying to get that new keyword that's been added that I found in Atomic or I researched as impressions as quickly as possible, which is the whole point of adding keywords into your campaigns. So, but I also wanted to give a little bit of a range, saying,
Mm-hmm.
hey, I set the max bid at 5. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, what if it is already at 5, right? And it
Mm.
still isn't doing anything. Okay. I'm going to pop that back down to $2, and then it's going to actually go up into the spending algorithm,
Oh, interesting. Yeah.
right?
Okay.
So instead of just
Mhm.
focusing on the impressions, which maybe it's just taking too long,
Mhm.
right? But if it's gotten up to 5, clearly it's not a bidding issue, right? It's not
Yeah,
the
exactly.
keyword bid that's the issue. So I'm like, okay, maybe it's something else. So I'm going to pop
Indexation, maybe you're not indexing for the keyword or issues, things like that.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to drop it down, and it's going to basically roll up and then caught into the other rules that I explained before.
Mhm.
Now, I added this I think this is the end of my criteria. Yeah. I added this because I was like, well, if I've got an algorithm for less than 1,000 and no sales, shouldn't I have one for over 1,000 and no sales as well?
Yeah.
Because if you've got a keyword with over 1,000 impressions and no sales, that probably means it's not going to convert, right? So
Yeah.
I added this one, and I basically just said decreased 5%, right? And then also, but with the $5, if it's over $5, then this captures it, drops it back down to 2, and it
Yeah.
goes into that cycle. So this is important because impressions, if you've got the impressions but there's nothing happening, then it might be just that it's a bad keyword, right?
Yeah.
Now it's important to remember to because all these things are happening at once. So anytime I have an increase happening or a decrease happening, I'm always cognizant of the fact that I've got some rules that are lowering bids down to 25 cents or 20 cents. Actually, this should be 20. Just caught that.
Yeah.
Right? Because if you remember before, I was lowering bids down
Exactly.
to 20. Right.
Yeah.
So I'm for this, I'm like saying I don't necessarily need to catch those ones. Those ones have already been done. Right. So I'm looking at the things that are over 20 cents. Right.
Yeah.
So that makes it the algorithm more clean. So you just got to be aware when you're setting kind of minimums, when you're increasing, when you're decreasing, you don't want to double up on.
Yeah.
And I get this question too. Sometimes two different criteria might clash.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever is going to be the more significant change is
Exactly.
what Atomic will do, right?
Mm-hmm.
So let's say I do have it's greater than 1,000 impressions and it's $4 and no sales. It will get caught by, I actually see it get caught by this algorithm more than I do by the other one, because which is good, because if it's over 1,000 impressions and it's not converting and it's a high bid, it's probably not going to work. So I want it to get caught by this one before I just keep increasing the spend. This is the one that will actually hit more before the spend one will, because I actually do have it looking at impressions as well. Last but not least, this should have been at the top, but I have a cap. So if you remember, my ranges were 15 to 55%.
Exactly.
This one, I remembered at the end of this and I was like, oh crap, I didn't say what happens if it goes over 55%. Doesn't matter. It's on the bottom. It affects the rules that we talked about at the top, or criteria talked about the top. And obviously, if it's greater than 55% in the last 90 days, I'm gonna drop that down to 20 cents, and it's gonna be in that, potentially it's gonna be cut.
Cool.
So that's
I think the impression actually, and I want to add my 2 cents here. I can't tell you how many times seeing these mistakes on accounts. I checked that people have hundreds of campaigns, and then there's always these campaigns that they have 10, 15, 20 keywords, and there's these keywords that have no impressions at all. Right. And just because they do basic optimization on the top and not use this kind of filtering, those are keywords that potentially they could be hidden gems, but they never kept increasing the bids to the ones that are having no activity. So and we see that all the time. It's like money on the table just because you're focusing on the ones that are showing clicks, and your filters are not focusing on impressions. So it's a big
thing, and that was kind of my thinking when I was building. And the cool thing about this is I'm probably not done, right? There's probably more.
Yeah, of course. There's always things.
There's probably different things that I'm going to notice, right? And I will say the one caveat, this is set to automate, but I definitely would highly, highly, highly suggest starting this as a manual thing, so that you actually get to see the results in real time. And I can make an update, right? Like I just made an update right here. I can save this rule, and it will immediately recalculate everything.
Go back.
And potentially give me new suggestions. And that will appear in the suggestions section. And it would be in the bids section. Now there's nothing here because I have it set to automate, right?
Of course,
But I didn't set that to automate for like 6 weeks. Like I literally looked at this thing every day and saw the suggestions that were appearing here. And I basically said, I like this one. I can see what it's doing. I don't like this one. I'm like, okay, how do I adjust the bid algorithm that I just showed you so that I can get a different result? And I kept iterating on that until you finally saw what I just shared with you, right? That flow only came out of me manually looking at what I had built
and understanding the system
and making adjustments.
Yeah,
Exactly.
super important. I think another thing that this could be super powerful, I'm sure you have done it already, is when launching products. Because when we launch products, we know that some of the main things we have to focus on is conversion rate. And I
Yeah.
know one of the metrics you can use is conversion rate.
Conversion rate.
And imagine you identify what is the conversion rate you had to have at the keyword level, because you see that within, brand analytics and helium 10 and all of that.
Hmm.
Then you make sure you're always within the baseline of conversion rate so you get positioned organically. And if you try to do that manually, it's so time consuming, but having something like this that identify the keywords for you is a game changer. That's all. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's I just geek out on it. And then so
Mhm.
when we talked at Phosphor, I was like, yeah, I'd love to pop on and show you kind of what I'm doing with our
Cool.
account. But yeah, I am also, of course, doing things outside of
Yeah.
Helium 10. So yeah, if we have a time,
Yeah, of
and
course. I would like to cover. I know we had this conversation before going live.
yeah,
That you also playing with Prime Video ads. I think that's something that is also the
yeah,
new kid on in the block. A
it
lot of
is.
people are playing up with that. So tell us a little bit about what are some of the things you've
Yeah.
been seeing with those type of ads.
So
Yeah.
so unfortunately, or fortunately, like I just launched, so
Mm,
I don't really have any data yet. So I was
yeah.
like, oh, maybe you will. But at the
Mm,
very least, I kind of wanted to cover,
yeah. Of
what
course.
it is, for because a
Yeah.
lot of people don't know this is available, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So guys, sellers, if you guys remember, you used to be able to watch Prime Video with no commercials,
Hmm.
right? It was just included. Well, if you remember, they just added commercials, so which is a pain in the butt. If you
Yeah.
don't want
Yeah.
the commercials, you have to pay $3 a month, right? Which I
Yeah.
did because I don't. I'm in advertising and I don't like commercials. For the people that didn't buy the $2.99 a month package, they're getting commercials in Prime Video. So this is different than streaming TV, where you can build out campaigns in Seller Central, but or at the ads console. But those are like mostly third party, right? Those in some of their properties, Twitch and all
Yeah.
the. But this is ads in the content that you would be watching on Prime Video, right? So this
Powerful.
is super, super powerful. So again, I just launched for one
Yeah.
of my clients, and it's spending pretty well. But if you guys watch any of the content, they've got really, really good content, which is
Yeah.
why I signed up for it to begin with.
Yeah.
But of course, Amazon does a good job of like selling themselves.
Yeah.
But
Giving you the figure.
all the stats and all the figures. But what I wanted to let people know is that like
Yeah.
you don't
Exactly.
even need
Hmm.
to be running PPC to do this.
It's like a DSP kind of thing. It's separated from sponsoring.
It is a
Hmm.
separated thing. Yeah. So that is one thing. You do have to have access to DSP and like to a DSP
Hmm.
provider. So like
Hmm.
I do work. I have some partners that I run.
Hmm.
DSP, but basically it's available for all types of brands, right?
Yeah.
So and only in these countries right here.
Yeah. Yeah.
But you don't even have to be a seller. You don't have to be selling products on Amazon, which is the
Yeah. Yeah.
crazy.
You could be a retailer. Like
Yeah,
we
you
actually
can be
been
retail.
playing with
So,
that, and
which
it's cool. Yeah.
So the cool thing is that your potential as a seller on Amazon, your potential ad is most likely going to be seen by a
Yeah.
commercial for like Allstate Insurance. I've seen like it puts your ad at the same level of like national brands because obviously
Mhm.
Allstate Insurance isn't selling products on Amazon, right? Yet.
Yeah.
So, for me, I was like, when I saw that, when I read this, I was like, oh, wow, okay, that part is super powerful to me. Now, of course, I want to work with sellers who are actually selling products on Amazon,
Yeah. Of
but
course.
the powerful part is the fact that you're going to be seen against national
Yeah.
brands. So,
Yeah.
I'll keep you posted on the results of the video ads.
Yeah.
But for what I'm seeing right now, and I'm a data person, so I don't like going too far deep, but I'm seeing they are performing better than the streaming TV ads. So I will
Yeah.
just say that.
Yeah.
You
We
know,
we have seen as well that it's more an awareness exercise to some extent, and I
yeah. Oh,
think it also comes down to the type of product. You're not gonna do this for a phone case. I mean, come on, yeah,
no,
you see what I mean?
no, yeah, you're
It
gonna
needs to
do
be
this.
something a proper brand,
Yeah,
like I don't know, maybe you have a popcorn brand, and then it would make sense to show
yeah.
this,
like
So
like It needs to be higher end. And again, this is like
Yeah.
why I'm sharing it on this more advanced
Mm,
training, because this is more of an advanced
mm,
thing. But like, it needs to be something that has maybe even super unique, right? Like one of the one client that I'm trialing it out, they have really cool, very unique bike racks, but they're launching into
nice.
different categories. So
Mm,
now they're launching into like racks for
mm,
other sports equipment. I don't want to
yeah,
go into too much
of
detail,
course.
but they're like, hey, this is an awareness play.
Hmm.
We want the awareness that we have this new line of products coming out that are adjacent to our core product that we're selling on Amazon. But so it is an awareness play, but you have lots of different options with these. Like you could put QR codes, like people can literally walk up to their
Super powerful.
TV,
Yeah.
right?
Mm,
And I'm sure we've all seen commercials like that. So you could have
yeah.
that in your own ad, and potentially you could make a sale from the people watching it, which I think
Yeah.
is super powerful.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm
Now,
excited about it, and again, I just wanted to share that with.
yeah. Yeah, I think it's super powerful, and I think again, of course, it's for more high-end brands. But yeah, I think the power that Amazon is giving on our hands for brands that actually focusing on building a brand is crazy. I mean, we see also Amazon Marketing Cloud with
Yeah.
such a powerful tool now, and how you can combine that with DSP and really go the extra mile where most brands are
Mhm.
not really leveraging that. So I think Amazon has understood that the game is really leveraging brands. And I think if that's really the game you're playing right and only flipping products from China, you're gonna have a fun ride with
Yeah.
Amazon, especially in 2024 that they have so many things that they're gonna
Yeah.
announce this year. Now,
Absolutely.
to conclude, because it's also another hot topic,
Yeah.
um, a lot of people is also being playing with affiliate marketing and all of that. I know
Yeah.
that's something that we also discussed you being interacting with. So
Yeah.
what is your take with that? Like, are you seeing positive results? It's working for you? What is the
Yeah.
situation? Yeah.
Again, it's something that I just started.
Mm-hmm.
With people that actually met at Prosper Show, which you and I were at. And
Yeah.
I'm not affiliated at all
Mm-hmm.
with them, but I really like what they're doing, because my background was affiliate marketing. Like
Yeah.
that's back in the day, digital marketing. Affiliate
Mm-hmm.
marketing was a part of it. So they basically, this company Levanta, they just built a platform which is affiliate marketing for your Amazon listing. So you can connect your product with different content creators or influencers. They have lots of different categories in here,
Mm-hmm.
and you basically can use their software to connect your attribution links, right? Which you can
Mm-hmm.
get within the attribution area of the ads console, and you can run ads for lots of different types of content, lots of different creators off Amazon, right? And then drive them back to your listing. The beauty of that, which most people know if they're already doing like Google ads driving to their, or any kind of external marketing, is that you get to take advantage of that brand referral bonus, right? Because
Mm-hmm.
Amazon loves external traffic. So they started the brand referral bonus. I know it's on here somewhere. No,
Yeah.
maybe not. So, one of the highlights obviously is that as you're driving external traffic, you do get to take advantage of the brand referral bonus. So it offsets some of the costs associated with this, which are already pretty minimal. I mean, they have a standard flat fee per month, depending on how many brands you're running, and then they'll help you actually get connected to certain types of categories of affiliates, depending on what your product is. So I found it super helpful where I've got a very niche product. Like one of my clients it's a medical device, like, so we really need specific types of content out there to make for relevancy.
Mm-hmm.
And the team over there, we're able to find a few different affiliates that actually aligned with this particular medical device and the purpose of it. If I had done that on my own, if I had had to go out there,
Hours and hours.
you're talking in hours and hours and hours, and that's why most people don't really do that. Like, I mean,
Yeah. Yeah.
there is some influencer marketing platforms out there. This is not that. It is a little bit of this, but it's also more broad. It's like affiliate marketing is all different types of websites, all different types of
Mm-hmm.
content creators, and so they've kind of just collated that in this platform. And they really make it easy for you to search by category, or you can even ask for their help, like I did. and they'll find relevant affiliates for you. So
Nice.
so far, it's been working pretty well. And this might more be, it might actually more be a branding play.
Mm-hmm.
But we'll see. It might be straight up branding play, but actually obviously it's affecting total sales.
Yeah.
I'm trying to see, hey, is this going to affect PPC sales? Like,
Mm-hmm.
how are people going to be interacting with this? So it's going to be interesting to follow that attribution link and actually track down to see. So
Yeah.
again, this is something that's brand new. Like they just
Yeah.
recently launched. They were the first show was at Prosper. So when stuff's brand new that I think is interesting, I do like to highlight it, which is why I'm bringing it up to you guys. And we'll see. I expect I wouldn't be sharing it if I thought it wasn't going to be good for the brand. I think it really is going to be good for my clients that are going to test it. I'm trying to get more of them to test it out because obviously the more brands you do, you get like a more of a discount on the affiliate sales commission. But for people that are looking for just another avenue, another way of getting external traffic to their listings. And of course, there is always the people that say, well, if I'm going to do external traffic, I want it to go to my website, right? And I get that because you do want that full control. But
Mm-hmm.
at the same time, if your Amazon is your largest channel,
Mm-hmm.
you're getting the most amount of sales from your Amazon
Yeah.
channel. Like maybe spend the same money that you're doing to run external traffic to your listing or to your website, to your listing instead, and just see if it makes sense for you. Like if the economics make sense and you're actually making more money doing it directly to your listing, do more of that. If you are opposite and you're making more money driving listings directly or shoppers directly to your website, do that.
Yeah.
But if you don't test these different ways of getting more sales on
You're
Amazon,
never gonna find out.
exactly, never gonna know.
Cool, Vince. So, I mean, thank you so much. We covered so many interesting things, and I'm sure people got so much knowledge out of this. I mean, we
I
covered,
hope so.
yeah, all the strategies you'll be implementing from a PPC structure, which again, even if you don't use Atomic, you can do this on a manual basis.
Yeah.
All the thought process about how to optimize campaigns, Prime ads. I mean, Prime Video ads. If somebody out there has a very nice brand, that's definitely something you have to try.
And the
And
budget.
affiliate, like, and the budget, yeah, that's true. And I would say affiliate is something that, yes, 100%. Like, especially in 2024, with how competitive Amazon is getting, you need to find avenues to diversify how you gather traffic.
Absolutely.
And to actually focus on building a real following and brand outside of Amazon. Because if all your sales rely on that PPC, you're gonna struggle as it gets more a pay to win. Yeah.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
it's been a pleasure, Vince. So tell us a little bit more about how people can reach out to you. I know you still, of course, provide a ton of support as a consultant as well when it comes to PPC. So
Yeah.
tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah. If people want to reach out to me, if they've got any questions on anything that I shared, I'm always happy to answer those. You could find me on LinkedIn, Vincent Montero. I think Sir Tacos is still in my name. So if you see Vincent, Sir Tacos Montero, that's me. Feel free to reach out there. I do still consult. I was at Expo West after Prosper and picked up quite a few clients that just needed like consulting on what they were doing with their PPC. So I've got some really, really strong, content for that as well to share for people that just need that. And then of course, yes, I am still managing. I'm very boutique though. It's like just me and a couple of VAs. So as far as managing PPC, I'm very, I don't want to say selective, but I am.
That's good. I mean,
I love training and I love all the training that I did at Helium 10, but my core is to help the more experienced seller just get to that next level. And so this kind of information, everything I've shared, well, not everything I've shared, but you can reach out to me on my website. It's just evincedigital.com. That's EVINCED. So the word evinced with the D digital.com. I can share that with you too.
Yeah,
but
of course. I'm going to put it in the description.
Perfect. People can check me out there as well. And then, reach out to me through the contact form or on LinkedIn too. Either way, happy to chat with people.
Awesome, Vince. So it's been a pleasure. Thank you so much for being on the show. And I can't wait to see you soon at upcoming events, bro. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Sounds good. The Vincenzos will unite again.
Let's do it. Bye.